Welcome to the channel. In this video we will discuss about web novel chapter 90 Diablo vs Holy Knights. It may contain spoilers for upcoming anime, so watch out. Subscribe the channel for more web novel chapters. So, now let's start the video. Kufufufufufu. The demon let out an evil laugh. With its deep crimson hair fluttering, it gently descended in front of the Holy Knights. Spreading its bat-like wings wide, it was something that could truly be called the embodiment of evil. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Now, let us begin the test without delay. Whether or not you are worthy to be my opponents. The Holy Knights, after witnessing its appearance, immediately scattered and took up a defensive stance. They don't have the leisure to erect a barrier. They need to make a split-second decision. Their cautiousness was due to the arrival of the archdemon. Unfortunately, there are no other teams that had the capability to erect a barrier. However, this situation could be considered fortunate if you look at it from a different point of view. The opponent that came before them was only one in number. And in this squad was Arno Barman, the strongest Holy Knight that leads an undefeated party. Arno sprouts a fearless smile and encourages his companions. Don't be afraid. Their enemy is only one. Even though it's an archdemon, it's not a threat to us. True. They already have battle experience against archdemons from the past. When fighting the heretics, there were some who could summon archdemons using the high demon summoning. Until now they had never lost once against these people. For Arno, he was confident he could come out victorious, even in a one-on-one battle. Everyone, spread out. 2 sub-leaders shall support me, the other members will set up a simple holy barrier. Begin. The Holy Knights reacted immediately to Arnaud's instructions. They were the movements of well-trained first-class warriors. Having lived through scenes of carnage many times, they were confident in their abilities as the fort that fights to protect the human race. Without hesitation they dispersed. They moved into a pentagram formation and erected a holy barrier that confined the commander and the 2 sub-leaders with their opponent, the red-haired demon, inside the barrier. But eerie as this was, during that time there was no movement from the demon. Sprouting an evil smile, the demon looked on happily at the Holy Knight's movement. Oi, what's wrong? You're not going to interrupt us? Arno asked, trying to provoke it. Why would I do such a thing? You are all working hard. I will not interrupt you. A response that was clearly underestimating them. Arno stood with composure facing his opponent, but inside he was truly boiling with anger. As an expert class knight, he's trained himself to have control over his emotions in these situations, as not to lose his sight in anger. But the opponent's response was humiliating. How can an archdemon be so impudent? Arno thought this, and being extremely thorough, he made sure to keep it as just a thought. There was no doubt that this was a threat to his troops. He was trained as a holy knight, so he had a clear grasp of its true strength. In their present condition, 5 people would be enough to take down an archdemon. Provided that the opponent was a common archdemon. Arno calmly observed the demon in front of him to measure his opponent. The opponent in front of him now was not just a common archdemon. With an air of composure, it stood there elegantly. The cloth it wore was elaborate, as if it signified it was not just a lowly demon. The purpose of these clothes were to show that its level was high. Where it's concerned, the possibility that this demon has been named is very likely. A named demon in itself is a big threat. And yet, his opponent was a high-ranking named demon. He could not be careless. Even if he's angry at the opponent before him, he can't afford to lose his composure and cloud his own judgment. Arno unsheathed his sword. Oh, are your preparations finished? Yes. Sorry to keep you waiting. Shall we begin? But before that there's something I want to ask you, your name. To the demon's question, Arno answered. And he took that opportunity to ask the demon his name. Although he might not get an answer, if he does, he could know whether the opponent was named or not. The opposing demon, oh, how rude of me. My name is Diablo. Even though this name was granted to me by His Highness RIMURU, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm still so inexperienced. Happily, it introduced itself. Arno felt a cold sweat drip down his back. Dangerous. His instinctive alarm rang at its maximum. Introducing itself without any hesitation. It means that the opponent was an existence that was already gifted with a name. If the master dies, its named status will disappear as well. Also, if it introduced itself with its real name, then that name can be used to manipulate it. Therefore, not introducing oneself was common sense among demon kin. So it was named by the demon Lord RIMURU. It seems that the demon was telling the truth. Was it even feasible for a demon lord to grant a name to the likes of an archdemon? But right now it was useless to harbor such doubt. Even so, Arno prided himself as the one called the strongest holy knight. He was the right-hand man of Hinata, the leader of the holy knights. And he had confidence in his place as number 2. Supported by such confidence, Arno smiles fearlessly. My name is Arno Barman, the strongest holy knight. Engrave it into your soul, the name of the person who's going to destroy you. Enjoy your trip to hell. At the same time he declared that, he performed a spiritual power release and activated his spirit armament. Instantly, 5 colors of light dazzlingly glistened and wrapped around Arnaud's body. He was a holy knight who possessed the 5 attributes of earth, water, fire, wind and space. For a normal person, possessing 2 attributes was rare, but he was loved by 5. His title as the strongest holy knight wasn't just for show. During this time, the other holy knights also performed a spiritual power release. Each were clad in armor of their own attributes. In the middle of the shining multicolored lights was a shining pentagram. A simple type holy field was cast. It wasn't full powered due to the short amount of time to perform the ceremony, but with 5 holy knights, it was effective enough. Inside the barrier, besides the 2 skilled holy knights, was the strongest one, Arno. Against an archdemon, there shouldn't be anything to fear. Fortunately, Arno held in his hand a new type of armament, the Demon Slayer, a supreme sword made by the 7 celestial sages solely to fight against demons. Against the flesh, the sword was endowed with the ability to tear apart the magic power in the monster's magic power configuration, so that it can't reconfigure again. In other words, it can suck out the opponent's magic power. This weapon was developed with the purpose to inflict damage against dragon types. It was the only sword that had been developed to have the same power as Hinata's sword. The decision to equip Arno with it was correct. With this sword, any type of demon would surely be destroyed. At that time, Arno had absolute confidence in his weapon, but... Well then, let us begin the test. The demon casually said so. And the meaning of those words were quickly understood. UWAAAAAAAA. Don't come, stop it, don't come. He help, etc. The members stumble where they stand while unanimously shouting. As holy knights, these members should have been accustomed with this kind of thing. Just what happened? Arnaud couldn't understand. This overwhelming fear was the coercion released by the demon before him. It simply unleashed its suppressed demonic aura. That's all. Oh my, only 3 people were able to pass the test. Well, I offer you my praises. To be able to endure my demon lord's hockey, I shall permit you to be my personal opponents. The demon excitedly declared. The pentagram barrier disappeared in an instant. The other holy knights, whose minds had snapped, didn't have enough energy left to maintain the holy field. Arno was sweating bullets. Trying to wipe it off, he couldn't even keep up. He was desperately trying to comprehend the current situation. Unbelievable. He didn't want to accept it. The demon before him, just now, what did it say? Certainly it had said Demon Lord's Hockey. He'd never heard of such an ability. With its aura release alone, it reduced the holy knights to this powerless state. Even for a demon lord, that shouldn't be possible. No, it might be possible for one legendary class of demon lord. He didn't previously think it was possible for a named to be of that class. You, the heck, are you? Trying to squeeze out the words, Arno asked in a hoarse voice. Mustering all his willpower, he kept his fear from showing. Calmly he drove away his negative thoughts. Somehow, he succeeded in maintaining his composure. With Arno like that, Kufufufufufu, I am Diablo. The faithful servant of RIMURU-sama. If I perform brilliantly this time, the one getting the seat of first rank will be me. Such an answer came. In addition, making him dumbfounded. While I'm at it, allow me give the answer to your next question. I am not an archdemon like you had previously said, but a demon duke. Even though the difference is slight, please don't make that mistake again. It added that in more words of despair. It's over, everything is over. The female aide Sophia bent down and began to weep like a child. Her mind has also snapped. Demon Duke, that was the legendary existence. It was ranked higher than a self-proclaimed demon lord. Their previous appearances in this world were not documented, so it couldn't be confirmed. But this legendary demon now certainly exists. Just like a common spirit can't be compared to a great spirit class. And a great spirit class can't win a fight against a king spirit class, even if several of them banded together. Oh, what are you doing? You have passed my test, but you don't seem happy in the slightest. The demon called out to the female adjutant whose mind had snapped. This situation never crossed Arnaud's mind. While shedding tears, she tried to run away, desperately. To the demon who had called out to her, she was unwilling to make eye contact and shook her head in denial. As a holy knight, she was a brave and dependable adjutant that survived situations of great peril before. But for the first time, she was showing signs of fear. She had great knowledge in demonology, as a countermeasure against the heretics. Because it's best to know your enemy. Not only that, but she also studied summon demons and demon summoning. Because of that, she was very familiar with demonology. The fact that this woman was frightened stiff was proof enough that the existence before them was in fact, a demon duke. Therefore, measures must be taken against that. Can you still fight, Bacchus? He asked his other adjutant. His reliable partner and trusted right-hand man. Bacchus nodded with a pale face. To overcome this crisis with just them two, they must make a breakthrough. After linking with Hinata, this demon would meet its end. Arnaud gathered up the resolve and concentrated on stirring up his willpower. Oi, do you have to torment my adjutant and subordinates? Leave them alone. Your opponent is me. Arnaud shouted and conducted his attack with all of his might. That's it for this video. Subscribe the channel for more web novel chapters. Meet you on next video.